ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you could see what I just had to run to flip the light on in the background because I realized that as I was getting the show prepped and everything, I never went and flipped it on. I didn't get the light stuck in the on-air sign because I was so out of sorts. Hang on, let's turn that on. Not that it matters. You know that the show's on the air because you're listening to it. Yeah, right. I'm all out of sorts. I'm always all out of sorts. That's what happens when I try to go live on time. we are we're back. Maybe I'll edit that out in the actual podcast. We'll see. Anybody that's a regular listener or viewer, you know that when I say I'm going to edit things, I don't actually do it. This is a podcast where you never really know what's going to happen. It used to not be a show, so that was why the chaos could just be here, and it wasn't a big deal. Whereas now it's an actual show, so it's supposed to be a little more organized, but clearly it's not ever. It's not ever organized. It doesn't ever make sense. There's always some kind of chaos. But it's a happy hour. It's an excuse for all of us to hang out and have a drink together. So tell me what you're drinking as you jump onto the live chat. Let's see. Josh says hello and is having a truth tonight. Marco says hello. He is having a two-hearted and cooking dinner. Julia is having, I think, the last can of peso in my hand that was in the fridge. Marco says the gnome flannel collection. It is that time of the year. I'm just about always wearing a flannel this time of year. Although it was, I woke up this morning and I still had the air conditioning on in our bedroom. We have a separate air conditioner up there because I like it super cold when I sleep, and it was super cold when I woke up and put on actual pair of pants and flannel and was all ready for a nice chilly morning. Came downstairs. It was nice and chilly in the house. Some would say, and by some I mean my wife and kids, would say that it was just too cold. So they decided they were going to turn the heat on today. So the heat has officially been turned on in my house, and now I'm sitting here and I'm hot. Like, I don't know what the temperature is in the house, but I wish it was like, I don't know, 10 degrees cooler. It's just too hot. So I say that because it's, I guess, officially fall in my mind now. It definitely felt like fall this weekend. We went to a pumpkin patch, and it was cold. And so I think it's fall, and I think that I'm ready for it. I like the cooler weather a little bit, as long as it doesn't get much colder than this, which I recognize that it will, and as long as the temperature in the house does not get hot. That's my one thing, and they're letting me down on that. But it is great as the weather cools down, and that is beer. So I'm gonna crack open a beer, and then we'll dive into stuff. I was gonna do a Oktoberfest quest today with you guys from round 2, but I decided against it because I had something in my fridge that I want to drink a little bit more than Oktoberfest beer today, which I recognize is a rare thing. But sorry, I'm pulling up notes here since I'm always ill prepared. This is, if you guys have been paying attention, you know that I've been on a bit of a Belgian beer kick lately. So we're gonna drink a Belgian beer. This is a new Chimay glass. This came with the beer dinner. Was that last week? It is. It says Chimay Scourmont Abbey Strong Blonde. So new glass. And we are going to dive into something that I think a lot of people were caught a little bit off guard with. I had heard rumors that this was coming. cans of Chimay. For anybody that is a Chimay fan, you know how kind of crazy that is to see. This is the Cinq Cents. I know that I'm butchering that name because I am very American, so that's just how I say it. It is a triple. Trappist triple ale is what they say on here. I know that there is a Belgian tripel, is how we've always said it, but it is spelled triple. Like, it is definitely spelled triple, not E-L. It's L-E. So I'll go the American way. It is 8% ABV. It also says to serve this at 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is still way colder than that, I can tell you that. It also tells me to store it in a cool place. It tells me, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the stuff on this. It tells me when I'm serving it in glassware that I am not supposed to serve it in a pint glass. I need to make sure that I'm serving it in a goblet. And by that, it has a picture of a pint glass with an X through it and a picture of a goblet. Only thing that would be better with, like, a guy standing next to it going, you know. We get the point across. And then it also has a picture of a beer can on its side with an X through it and a beer can standing up without the X. So I guess that means don't store it on its side. Always store it up. The big thing about this beer that is kind of crazy is that it is conditioned in the can. So the beer is brewed, and then it re-ferments in the can on purpose, which is, I think, was one of the big holdups of them ever putting it into cans. They just kind of struggled with a little bit of that technology or idea that was possible. There we go. So this beer, if you are unfamiliar, which I was pretty unfamiliar with it, was brewed to celebrate the 500th anniversary of the not the actual abbey, but the prefecture, the region, the something of where Chimay is. I guess I could read it on here. Let's see. It was first brewed in 1966 by Reverend Father Theodore. It was his final contribution to the Chimay line of beers. It was formerly known as a Whitecap, and nothing of its kind has ever been created ever since. That's good. Cinq Cents translates to 500, honoring the 500th anniversary of the Principality of Chimay, whose support made the founding of the Scourmont Abbey possible in 1850. So yeah, I was pretty close. Tim says that he saw 6 packs of those at Fairfield Jungle Gyms this weekend, if anyone is looking for them. Marco says, conditioned in a can equals bubble guts. I mean, that's a little bit true. Conditioned in bottles does kind of the same thing too, but the big trick is just to make sure you pour it to get a lot of that out. But it is live beer, as they like to say. The color that I'm seeing is much more kind of golden orange, where when I'm looking on the screen up there, that what you guys are seeing, it looks a lot darker. I assume that's just, here we go. You can kind of see it a little bit when I get some of that light on it. But all right, I'm going to dive into this. It's definitely weedy and full-bodied, but there is that great fruity kind of Belgian ester that comes in. I mean, it's a heck of a beer, guys. It's really, really good. I still think, for me, Belgian beer shines its brightest when it is paired with food. On the Chimay website, or actually, I guess this is probably the importer's website that I'm looking at. They have recommended cheese pairings. If anybody has never done a beer and cheese pairing, you should probably do that sometime, because it really is, to me, a really great way to to experience beer and food together. Beer and cheese just goes together so well. I will definitely be burping throughout the show, as Marco said. Bubble guts. Conditioned beer, bottles or cans. Makes me burpy. I do want to talk, before we really dive into some of the local news stuff that's going on, I want to talk about Oktoberfest Quest, because if anybody was paying attention to social media this week, you know that I put out the call to get voting, and I did shut down the votes as of about a half hour ago, and there were lots of votes. I appreciate everybody making time to contribute, and we have a winner, a winning eliminated beer, a winning loser, whatever you want to call them. Somebody's coming back into the competition. Not this round, not round two. We've started round two. Once we get through this, we'll go into round three, and with that one, that's where the eliminated beer will come back. There were, Marco says he voted at least 5 times. There were a lot of votes. Did you vote for the same one 5 times, or did you vote for different ones? Trying to split your feeling, because that's where I was curious to see what people did. And since I didn't collect email addresses, I don't know how anybody voted. So you'll have to tell me. But there was definitely a clear winner. Their second place was pretty well split. Actually, I wonder if I still have it pulled up here. I do, except I can't. Computer's too far away, so I can't see anything. All right. We have... Sorry. Yeah, so first place got 23.1% of the popular vote. And then we had... Second place was 13%. And then there was 12.3% and a 10%. A couple that were... 7 to 9%. So it was fairly close as far as the second place, but there was definitely a clear winner with 23.1% of the votes. I feel like I should keep kind of teasing this, kind of like Ryan Seacrest does on American Idol, but I'm not that good at that, so I'm just going to show you. Do we have any other guesses who we think it is? Marco says that he voted for Northern Row at least 5 times. Julia says she voted for different ones. Anybody else? Any predictions? Nope. I know that the chat is slightly delayed from what I'm actually saying, so we're going to just reveal it. Boom. Third Eye. Their fest beer is back. Julia says BJ's. Somebody did actually definitely voted for BJ's. I don't think anybody did not get a vote. I don't think. No. Yeah, there was one vote for BJ's. There was also one vote for Moreline, which I was expecting more from Moreline. Moreline was really good this year. 2 votes for Muller Brew Barn. So, Marcus says that was Caroline. That's fine. Julia says voted for Third Eye, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, it's a great beer. I think it's gonna do well now that it's back in the competition, and it gets a really good advantage now coming in round 3 instead of having to go through round 2. So I'm curious to see how it does. But yeah, definitely excited to see it back. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get everything set. Everything, I swear, there is some kind of gremlin that comes in here when I'm not broadcasting that just changes settings all over. I can smell the furnace burning off dust in the vents, which means the heat is still on, which means it's going to get even hotter down here. My goodness. How can, like, people's inner thermostat, whatever organ monitors your body temperature, how can it be so different from person to person, where I can be burning up and my wife can be freezing? How is it possible? All right. We are going to jump in. I mean, that's I guess the first news story is that Oktoberfest Quest Oh, I didn't pull the chat up for you guys before. There's the chat. You can also, I guess I should tell you, you can call into the show, 567-70-DRINK. It's the drunk line, 567-703-7465. Or you can text that number, and we'll get it here also. It's on my list of things to do, but we will add a video call-in feature very soon where you can, it won't be FaceTime, but there will be a link you can click that will take you right to a video chat, and we can pipe you in, and you'll just pop up there on screen. That's coming eventually at some point, but the chat always works, as you guys hopefully are familiar with. Oktoberfest Quest. The Golden Gnome awaits for this year's winner. Put him over here. He is dry and ready to go. There he is, hoisting his barrel of Oktoberfest beer. This is the most coveted award in all of Cincinnati beer. And this year's winner will get this and will be awarded this wonderful prize live via an episode of Cincy Brewcast that will be coming at you from Madtree. And I was really, really hoping I would have the date finalized today to share it with you. We still don't have it. I think I have it narrowed down to the week, maybe. Hang on, let me look at the calendar here. I hate to put a date out here because it really is pretty far off still from being confirmed. Did we? And now I'm questioning myself. Let's see. Yeah, I think it might be next week. Maybe. Again, I haven't heard back. It's really hard planning between multiple people. It's looking right now, the dates that I threw out there, which I have not heard back from Madtree yet to confirm if either one of these does work for them. It will be either Thursday or Friday, the 19th or the 20th. We'll see, but it will not be the morning. It will be the evening. We'll see. I will definitely put stuff out on social media as soon as I have confirmation on what day. But it's kind of a pain planning these things. I have to talk to the venue, which is Madtree, get some kind of dates. Then I have to go back to my wife and make sure it works for us, to make sure either she's good to be home with the kids, or we have somebody to watch the kids if she wants to come, or if she has to work, to have somebody to watch the kids. Then I have to go back to Madtree and give them the dates that she said work or don't work, and then confirm back with her. And then there's just so many moving pieces. Joe says he can't hang out tonight because it's bedtime for the kids. Caroline, and he had a wee heavy by Old Capitol Brewing with dinner. That sounds delicious. I do love wee heavies. I'll talk a little bit about some of the thoughts that just popped into my head in a little bit, but so Oktoberfest Quest is coming. It'll probably be short notice to let you guys know when the event is, which I hate, but number one, it's weird back and forth right now with the venue, and then also there is just so many things happening right now that make it really hard to just focus 100% on one thing. And with Beer, Booze, and Bonks in full-on planning mode, the brewery list, that's supposed to be finalized on Wednesday, ideally. Finalized on Wednesday. We're about a month out from the event, so you'll start seeing teasers about the breweries, and then very quickly after that, you'll start seeing beers, and so that's all going on. And then the Oktoberfest Quest just kind of gets squeezed in there, right in the middle between that and everything else. So it's just a lot of things, but it's all good things, but just a lot of moving pieces. So that's Oktoberfest Quest. We're full on into that. I'm going to be drinking a ton of Oktoberfest beer over the next week, I guess, because I have to get through round 2 and round 3. And let's see. I'm pulling up the list right now of everything. We have in round 2, we will have 9 different showdowns. One of them has already happened. Municipal took on West Side's Meritzen, and West Side won that one. And so there's 8 more of those to drink. So that's 16 beers that I have to drink. And then round 3 will be an additional 5 showdowns, so 10 more beers. So yeah, I still have 26 more beers to drink in the next week. That's kind of a lot of beers. So I guess every single week I'm going to be drinking multiple. Every single day I'll be drinking multiple beers. I should probably do that tonight before I go to bed. Marco says do 2 rounds now. I don't know if I have anything. Yeah, I guess I could do 1. I can't do 2, but I could do 1. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Just cracked open an 8% Chimay, but yeah. All right, hang on, guys. I'm going to grab 2 beers. I hate walking away from the microphone in the middle of a show, but Julia says, viewer decided winner for this round. That is not the way it works. I can't just show you beers and have you guys pick. If you were here to taste them, I would accept that, but... All right, we have Cartridge, the Matrix Meritzen, taking on Wandering Monsters, Ludwig. I love the little monster. I'm gonna feel bad if he loses in this competition because he just already looks so sad and lost. All right, gotta make some room here. You guys are a bad influence. It's a school night. All right, we're gonna go Cartridge in the Mad Tree glass. I was pleasantly surprised by this one this year. Not that it wasn't good last year, but that one's there. I'm going to use a bottle opener since we're bottling, I guess. I was pleasantly surprised by this one, too. These things are definitely a pain to store in the fridge. Bottles, they take up so much more room than cans do. All right. Definitely 2 different styles here. Meritzen Fest beer, they look completely different. You guys know what to expect out of a Meritzen at this point. It's darker in color, more of kind of a coppery color. It's a pretty beer. Fluffy head. The head's definitely darker too. Whereas this one is a little lighter, more of a straw golden color. This one is slightly hazy. I imagine it'll clear up a little bit as it gets a little warmer. These are stored in like the coldest fridge that I have for beer, just to kind of help slow down any aging that might happen to the Oktoberfest beers. But aging should not be an issue, and that needs to be clear with Oktoberfest beers. If you're drinking Oktoberfest beers within 3 or 4 months from when they were released, you should not have to worry about something getting old. But I definitely have tasted that with a couple of them. So all right, we're going to dive in here. This is Cartridge. Prost. Yeah, it's really cold. Oh, it's good. All right, and we're going to go Wandering Monsters. Man, they are both delicious beers. I say that every time, but they really are. I don't say that every time. There have been a couple this year that I did not say that about, definitely. But, man, the biggest thing that I notice between Märzen's and Fest beers, other than color, is typically, and this is not always true, especially with kind of these hybrid things that are happening. Typically, the Märzen's are a little smoother, I guess, is the best way that I can describe it. A little lower carbonation, just a little bit less of that crispiness, which definitely plays true to this. The Fest beers that I love the most have a really kind of big, deceptively kind of big body to the beer than you would think looking at it, which this one does. When I'm drinking a Märzen, I just want something that, again, it still is full-bodied, but has kind of that more of a chewy breadiness to it versus a little bit of that crispy kind of zippiness on the end that I want from Fest beer. I'm trying to think through this in my head because they are both really good. I'm not going to be happy either way I vote. Yeah, I'm going to go just by a hair, Wandering Monsters. That is a delicious Fest beer. Really, really well done. Has that body that I want, still light and crispy, and I feel like I could just drink a ton of it. So we'll give it to Wandering Monsters. Cheers, guys. They move on to round 3, where they will take on somebody. I don't know who yet, but we do currently have 3 beers that have moved on. Now, Third Eye moving back in. They're now in round 3. Then West Side and Wandering Monsters. And then the 5 winners that win in round 3. That's right, 5 winners will go on to the finals. And they will compete live in a blind taste test with hopefully a couple judges, which we'll have to figure out once we actually get a date settled. All right, so now I have more beers sitting on the table than anybody probably should for this show. I know this show is a happy hour and you're supposed to drink, but there's just all kinds of beers now. It's fine. Let's see. Now I have to find where my notes went for this week's episode. That's it right there. We're going to completely shift gears. This is not as happy news as Oktoberfest Quest is. This is a quiet closing of another local brewery, or local taproom, I should say. We talked a couple weeks ago. Moeller Brew Barn closed their doors, which I don't think was super shocking, and they weren't super local, so I don't think it's as crazy. Not that this is crazy. Birkus has closed their Covington taproom, which was across the street from Braxton on 7th Street there, and um, their actual brewery is still open. In fact, they're getting ready to open another location there in Ludlow where they will shift all of the brewing operations to help kind of keep growing things in a different way. The Covington Tap Room, and this is my thoughts, my opinion about it. It was a fine tap room. Pizza was great. The pizza is great in both locations. The Covington pizza was great. The tap room never had the personality and the soul that I love about the Ludlow space. Definitely a better, quote unquote, better location, being kind of more in town, but it was hard as a beer drinker and somebody who does get very kind of attached and loves the Bierkus space. It was hard to get attached to the Covington one. Julia says, I'm assuming that means the Cincinnati plans are dead in the water as well. Maybe that died a while ago and I missed the memo. Yeah, it's the plans that the article that you're thinking about, yes, that space is not happening. There are always, from my understanding, and this is again just me saying this, my understanding, there's always people that are reaching out that want Bierkus to exist in other places, developers and whatnot. But whether or not that any of those actually take off remains to be seen. But for now, it is just the original Ludlow space there at the Ludlow Theater until the new space, which is also in Ludlow, until that's up and running. Then all the brewing operations will move over there, and Ludlow Theater will just become a theater and more performance kind of stuff there, and a tap room, obviously, with the Bierkus beer. One other kind of news thing about Bierkus that we haven't really talked about on the show. They have a new head brewer, which I don't know what this means for Mash Cult, which is another kind of local brewing project. But Tony from Mash Cult is now brewing at Bierkus. So the beer at Bierkus right now is as good as it's ever been, in my opinion. Great beer. But I don't know what that means for Mash Cult. So I really need to go there sometime and sit down and talk to them and kind of dig into everything. There's a whole lot of stuff there. I've never had Tony on the show, and he's definitely been making beer in the city for a very long time. So it's about time. We need to do that. Bierkus Covington is no more. And at the same time, Bierkus is still kind of trying to figure out ways to keep growing and keep evolving and entering in this next phase of who they are. Craft beer is not the same thing as it was when Bierkus first opened their doors, so it's hard to kind of figure out that balance, I guess. Let's see. Now I'm burping a whole bunch. Elijah is enjoying a Rausch Schwarzbier from Barrique. That sounds delicious. I don't know that I've ever had a Rausch Schwarzbier. Let's see. Julia says, not sure where Verge Brewing is standing at the moment, but the carpet place they're trying to move into looked like it was completely cleared out last time I drove past. That's good news for them. I don't know where they're at either. I did get a text from somebody, and I won't say names because it was a text, so I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, but somebody that is associated with Verge that was also consulting somewhere else had a message out about some barrels that were being offered up, which to me means that person might be back consulting with this other place, which happens to be the Cerveceria or Ortega. I'm already like getting too confusing about this. We'll move past that. to get into that story is too confusing right now. Marco says it's a Schwarzbier with a little ashtray. That sounds good. I like a little ash sometimes. Julia says, yes, barrel-aged Modelo. Yeah, I need to get back in there and see what's happening because, man, that place fascinates me probably more than any other local brewery right now, to see what is going on, to see where they're headed and what they're doing. It is just fascinating. Joe says, talked to somebody from Verge last week. They are still working on a loan. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of pieces that are in movement with Verge, but now that the space is actually open and they can get in there, I think that'll help with getting some of the money moving to the right places, and then can get into construction. I just it's been a long time for them. I hope everything falls into place the way they want it to. Elijah says all this beer needs is some lactose, and it would be a perfect Marco beer. It's all of the things Marco loves. Moving on away from unhappy news. Not that this is that unhappy. It's fine, and I think that they were very consciously kind of quiet about the closing because they didn't want to be negative about it, because where Bierkus' head is not necessarily a negative spot. So don't cry for Bierkus. Things are still, in my opinion, looking up. But moving on, Third Eye, Hamilton. Anybody that doesn't know, I live up here in Butler County. Hamilton is a short drive away from Fairfield, where I live, and this will be one of the breweries that is within close distance from my house. And they are brewing. They announced today on social media that they have brewed their first batch of beer, which means that they are moving along. The kitchen taproom space will be open soon. Excuse me. There's another one. It's all that dust from the stupid heat. If we could just turn the furnace off. Jeez. They are definitely on their way to getting this taproom up and running. And if you haven't seen pictures of what they've done with the building, it is awesome. I mean, you can see from this one, just the front of it is such a cool space. And then inside, they took the mural idea that's kind of behind the bar in Sharonville and just kicked it up 10 notches. It's way bigger, and man, I am just so excited to see all of this come together. The whole basement of this is a big barrel aging facility, which if you've never had Kelly's barrel aged beer, you don't know what you're missing out on, and you don't know how exciting that actually is. So I'm really, really pumped to see these guys in Hamilton doing their thing and keep growing the beer scene in Hamilton, because I feel like it was really, really, really crazy for a minute there, and there was a lot of things happening, and there are still a ton of things happening, but the brewery kind of hype of Hamilton has slowed a little bit, and people aren't talking about it as much, and this is definitely going to get people get their ears perked up again and get them rolling. We also at some point need to talk about things that are happening in Middletown, but there hasn't been a formal announcement about any of that stuff, so we'll keep moving past it. Let's see. Elijah says, waiting on Kelly to be able to scale up a 24-hour barley wine. What is a 24-hour barley wine? Fill me in here before I click over to the next news story. Because now we're already at 40 minutes because you guys maybe drink 3 different beers. I also don't have coasters for all these beers, so this table's going to get some rings. All right, I'm going to move on. If Julia says, we only made you drink 2. But I had already started drinking 1, so. Elijah says it's a multiple reiterated mash barley wine that he brews for 24 hours. Yeah, that doesn't help at all. You got to use little words. We'll move on. So you're mashing. You're using the same mash and then just running new wort out of it, I guess. Ends up with stupid high ABV and a very sweet barley wine. I mean, I'll try it. If we can convince him to do it, I will try it. I'm sure you can convince him to do it. All right, moving on. Diving into the cellar. I've talked about this a bunch. This isn't really news. This is more of me using the wort to remash the grain. Okay, that makes sense. I've heard of some people doing other beers like that. It's I've never heard it worded that way before, but I guess it has to have a name. So diving into the cellar, I've talked about this. I probably talked about it last fall too, as we were heading into the winter, about how important to me it is this year to really start working through the beer that's in that. Over here is the beer cellars right around that corner, and there is way too much beer in there than there should be. And there's definitely some that is past its prime, that I missed the window of when I should have drank it, because it's, number one, out of sight, out of mind, so you just kind of forget about it. But also with bottles, we talk about how difficult these are to store in a fridge, and to you have to have a bottle opener, and they feel like they're more of an occasion to open them up versus a can. So they tend to just sit longer than cans do for me. And so this fall and this winter, I'm trying to make it a more of a priority to open those things when. Julia says you should open the cellar now and have one. Why stop at 3 beers when you can have 4 open at once? That's not going to happen tonight. I was going to do that, actually. That was my original plan for what I was going to drink tonight. I was going to grab something from the cellar and open it and drink it, but then I opened the fridge and saw the Chimay sitting there, and I thought, well, no, I really want one of those cans of Chimay. Not planning to also drink a bunch of Oktoberfest. But now I have to sit and drink all these beers while I get this show sent out as a podcast. So that's what I'm going to head into doing. But that's all the news for the week. I mean, that's not really all the news for the week. There's always probably 1,000 things that are happening in the craft beer world, in the drinking world, in Cincinnati drinking. But that's the things that kind of caught my eye that I think locally we should be talking about. But we will be back next week for this same idea. Sorry that the brewcast was late today. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I'm sure some of you did. It was a bear to edit that one, and I think I edited it and went back and redid it like 3 times before I finally just said, you know what, this is what it's going to be, and put it out there. I would still go back and change it if I could. It is always such a pain to edit some of those live ones, especially not that there were technical difficulties, but the sound system was definitely fighting me on the recording end. So it was a fun one, which I'm sure Oktoberfest Quest will be just about the same way. So we have that to look forward to. If you don't want to have to worry about listening to a not as good audio version of a podcast, just come to all of the live events and listen to it live when you can hear it live, and do it that way, because then you don't have to do it, if that makes any sense. We will be back next week. Stay tuned, because there's fun stuff coming. Julia says, hope the car and the ceiling stuff is getting taken care of. Meant to ask about them at the beginning of the show. Yeah, the car, I mean, the car is back, and it is definitely running after a whole bunch of money. But it is back. It's good. It works. It lives to fight another day. The ceiling still has a hole in it, and now has there's a little pot that I have sitting on the floor just to catch the water as it slowly drips. I think switching from air conditioning to heat is going to answer a couple of my questions about what exactly is happening. But and how to hopefully fix that. But it's not damaging anything now. It's just a hole in the ceiling, so it can go for a minute. But we'll be back next week. We'll do this again. Thanks, guys. If you like this, if you like any of the stuff that I do, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way. I have been working since I relaunched the website. So what was that, March? April? Somewhere around April. Since I relaunched the site to get the new store up and running, and I had it almost ready to go, and then it just kept slowing down the website so much that I was getting frustrated with it, so I turned it off again. And so the online store, who knows when it'll be back, but I don't know. There's a couple things I'm going to change about it to hopefully get things to where they need to be, but that's why there's no store on there right now. But there will be some merch at Oktoberfest Quest and at Beer Booze and Bonks. Probably nothing new. Maybe some new stuff at Beer Booze and Bonks, but definitely not at Oktoberfest Quest because I don't have time to get all that together. But that's what's going on the website side of things. But hopefully it's running fast for you guys again, because I turned everything off that was slowing it down. This is my life. These are the things that keep me up at night. Holes in my ceiling, slow websites. It's really exciting. We'll be back next week, and I appreciate all you guys for hanging out with me. Cheers, everybody. What happens if you cuvee Chimay with a bunch of Oktoberfest beer? That's wrong. I'm not going to do that.